you know, and you don't want to get into a battle of, well, throw out agency theory. That doesn't answer anything, because you're not going to win, because people will say, no, my theory's right. So you want to say, no, there's things that we don't explain.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And then that becomes better. And so you don't want to battle one theory versus another. My theory is best, and agency is bad, and institutional is bad, because then these guys will fight you tooth and nail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there'll be reviewers, they'll be angry. But if you say, no,
you have not explained this.
you haven't explained this. We're not challenging what you do explain. We just think we want to bring something new to the dance. We want to bring something new to the debate. And we think in some settings, this is the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Then hopefully people start using it, and empirically it shows support, and then it becomes very established.
So this is a topic for your interest, right?
Oh yeah, I am very interested in indigenous theory, because I don't think Western philosophy underpins everything. And I think there's a real desire for sort of a multi-polar world of lots of different places with insights. And I think it's also a process as the journals internationalize. So in a lot of ways, I think they're physically okay with people publishing from all over the world, but we still have some intellectual barriers that, you know, well, as long as you say it like I like it, it's okay. Mm-hmm. And I think to basically move and say, well, you know, there can be different underpinnings. These set of you know, theories you listed here, those aren't the only ones. Mm-hmm. We think there could be something else, but it is hard.
Yes, yes.
Questions?
Yeah, you can think about what is your favorite topic if you apply for the project.
If I apply for a project? Oh.
You can think about it.
I'll think about it. Oh, I've got, you know. I know of one, but you know. If it was mine, you know, I've already tried to see if there is. I think the issue of poverty in China is a real. If you could find that, because I think actually this program that President Xi has started to
2020.
2020. Yeah, I think that's real interesting. Although it'd have to be fast, because it'll be done. But what's unique about that program is they're actually moving people, which is different. You know, a lot of the other parts are very similar to what people have done before, but that's a real unique piece in that they're moving people. Because you know we've tried in the world lots of other things, but we have never tried moving people. And I actually think that might be the piece that's the answer. That they're set in an environment where they don't have a vision, and if they get to an urban area, I think that would be it. But I'm open to lots of things. But I've actually been thinking, you know, how would you study that in China? Because I think it'd be interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's a very interesting program, and it's really the only place that really trying to study poverty is China, which is.
So, Gary, do you think what's the basic factors to build this theory?
Oh, I think the basic, you know, I'd like to find those articles and probably review them again, but I think the real key, we're going to have to prove that something hasn't been answered. The answers aren't adequate. We haven't gotten to what's going on. You know, because I think whenever that's almost the first part of the article that you would write is, you know, we have these theories, but they're not answering this part. And that becomes your justification for why you want to do this. So that would be, because that becomes the challenge, and that's why I think you'd want to ask these other scholars, what are we not answering? Because, you know, if it's something we've already answered, everybody's going to go, well, that, you know, science sort of builds on prior research, and you're essentially you don't want to say, well, throw out this whole column of research because it's had a bad theory. People won't want to do that because they want to build on what's already there. But if you say you haven't answered this, nobody has really come in, and I think there's a lot of places like that in China.
Yeah.
And that would be the places I would start, because that becomes and then you say, okay, we have this problem, nobody's answered it. If we look at this philosophical underpinning, it provides answers, and it would make these predictions. And then hopefully then somebody empirically goes and studies that issue, but that wouldn't be the theory development. You guys have all this beautiful food.
Yeah, please.
Well, no.
你们吃啊？
Well,
Taste.
吃。
Baoshan knows I'll always take one piece of watermelon, 'cause that's always my favorite. Yeah.
Your favorite.
I love Chinese watermelon.
Yeah, Chinese.
It's better.
More
It's better.
better.
It
Not
is much
Chinese
better.
food.
So very
哎，你们吃啊？
the way the Chinese government
没有，我吃饱了，我就想喝点茶。
我晚上没吃饭。
吃晚饭吃。哎，那你吃？
我是前面一个会就路上。
哎，正好
不是，
这个
但是我在路上吃了糕点了，所以我就吃的更好。
是。
to the way Western countries
Yeah.
do.
So in the West, we don't move people. I mean, the reality is China can. I mean, just like the Three Dams Project. And people accept it broadly.
So this is a potential field to build an indigenous theory.
Well, I don't know that that's necessarily where I do indigenous theory, but I do think poverty in general is one. But I would probably look within entrepreneurship at things we're not explaining well. Because I don't think, like the shadow banking, we explain well. I don't think we really understand how a lot of this creative process comes about. Because I do think the creative process is probably different. I think, so the funding process, the creative process, I think the role of the state even in what makes success in the marketplace is different. And so those would be the things I would be looking for. And so finding specific ones of those, maybe found two or three that sort of relate together, that just builds a better argument. But that's what I would be doing. So Baoshan asked about poverty, but I probably wouldn't focus there. I mean, that's my passion, but it's probably not productive. I mean, I always look at poverty and inequality, but that's probably what wouldn't be where I would suggest. No, well, not that I won't ever, but I don't think it's necessarily a fit for China. Although I do think Taoism probably affects that a lot. And I think there is a connection there, but that wouldn't be what I would suggest for you guys. And so, but yeah, that wouldn't be what I would suggest for you. I would be looking more for things that are specific Asia, specific China, and use those as a foundation. For Chris and I, it would be appropriate. Because he does work in Latin America, particularly in Central America, with a heavy indigenous population. I sort of understand China. We've both done work in India. And I think a lot of those religions have that sort of passivity in them. But that's not where I would encourage you to go.
Thanks.
Questions? So we haven't heard from our 3 doctoral students down there. You each have to ask a question. Hot pot, that's right. You have to put something into the hot pot.